Imagine you wake up tomorrow and it's the year 1350. No phone, no calendar app, no weekends. But here's the twist, you do have a calendar. It's just written in saints' days, harvests, and fear of winter. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what a peasant, a knight, a noble, and a king were doing on this exact day, 700 years ago. And the answer is a lot stranger, and in some ways a lot more relaxed than you think. Because the truth is, medieval life wasn't one life. It was four completely different worlds, stacked on top of each other, all living by the same sun and the same seasons, just experiencing them in radically different ways. Let's start at the bottom of the pyramid and climb all the way to the throne. If you were born a peasant in medieval Europe, your year didn't start in January. It started when the ground thawed. And here's something most people get wrong. Peasants did not work every single day of the year. In fact, once you count it up, medieval peasants may have had more days off than you do right now. Spring, March through May, meant plowing, sowing, and lambing season. Summer, June through August, was the brutal stretch. Haymaking, then the harvest, the single most important weeks of the entire year. If the harvest failed, people didn't just go hungry for a season, they could die over the winter. This is why harvest time had almost a religious intensity to it. Autumn, September through November, meant thrashing grain, slaughtering pigs at Martinmas. On November 11th, in what was called the Great Slaughter before winter, and gathering firewood. Winter, December through February, was the quiet season. Repairing tools, spinning wool, mending, and surprisingly, resting. Here's the number that surprises people. Historians estimate medieval English peasants had somewhere between 50 and 150 holy days off per year, feast days, saints' days, Sundays, on top of the winter lull. Compare that to the roughly 10 public holidays most people get today. But don't romanticize it. A day off didn't mean rest in bed. It meant church in the morning, then communal drinking, dancing, or repairing your own house instead of the Lord's fields. And every single day, no matter the season, there was one non-negotiable job: feeding the animals and yourself. No supermarket, no fridge. Everything you ate, you grew, hunted, foraged, or bartered for that week. Now here's where it gets interesting, because knights had almost the opposite year to peasants. Most people picture knights fighting constantly. In reality, actual campaigning seasons were short. Armies mostly moved in spring through early autumn, because muddy roads and frozen rivers made large-scale war nearly impossible in winter. In the off-season during winter, knights lived on their estates or in a lord's household. Days were filled with hunting, hawking, managing tenants, training in the tilt yard, and importantly, a lot of admin. Rent collection, court disputes, managing peasants under them. During tournament season, in spring and summer peacetime, jousting tournaments were essentially medieval sports leagues. Knights could win prize money, horses, even the loser's armor. And if war was called, a knight owed his lord a set number of days of military service, often 40 days under feudal obligation. This is when the brutal, famous stuff happened: sieges, marches, pitched battles. Here's the twist. For most knights in most years, they never saw a real battle at all. Training, hunting, and estate management filled 90% of their calendar. The battles are just the part that got written down. And knighthood was expensive. A full harness of plate armor plus war horses could cost the equivalent of a small farm. Many knights spent their downtime desperately managing finances to afford their own equipment. If peasants' year revolved around the harvest, and knights' year revolved around campaign season, nobles' year revolved around something you'd never guess: poop. Literally, without modern plumbing, a noble household of 50 to 100 people staying in one castle for too long would overwhelm the sanitation system and the local food supply. So great households practically toured their own estates, moving from castle to castle, manor to manor, several times a year. This was called progressing, and it let one property air out, get cleaned, and restock while the family lived at the next one. In winter, there was the Christmas court, the single biggest social event of the year. Feasting, gift-giving, entertainment, alliances made and broken over a shared table. In spring and summer, hunting, estate visits, tournaments hosted for prestige, arranging marriages, the single most important economic tool nobles had. In autumn, managing harvest income. Nobles didn't farm, but they lived entirely off the rents and harvest dues owed by peasants below them. Here's the part that surprises people. Nobles were almost never idle by choice. A noble who couldn't display generosity, host feasts, and hand out gifts was seen as weak, not humble. Spending money conspicuously wasn't vanity, it was literally how political power was maintained. If you had to pick peasant, knight, noble, or king, which medieval year would you actually want to live? Comment below, I read every single one. And if you want part 2, what happened when the harvest actually failed, and how one bad summer could collapse an entire medieval social order, hit subscribe.